Listen to this. Here's the story. I went to a friend of mine's house. His father passed away, so I went to his house to, it's just called Comfort the Dead, and he reminded me that when Rev Yisrael Abu Chatzera passed away, which was in 1984, that I and he went together. He just became a Baal Tshuva. He just became a religious Jew. He's an Israeli guy. That we went together to the Levaya, to his, and talking about that, we got into talking about the Baba Saali, Rabbi Yisrael Abu Chatzir. Here I have a picture of him on my wall. Give me 1 second and I'll show you the picture. Here is the picture of the Baba Saali. Here's the picture. Oh, you have this? Yes. Baba Saali. Holy of Holies. Holy of Holies. Baba Saali. Moroccan, from Morocco. Okay. Now he and the Lubavitcher Rebbe were friends. You kind of call it friends, closer than friends. Impossible to understand the connection and the love and the brotherhood between them. And here's a story that explains it. So he has a friend. This friend that I was meeting with? He told the story of a friend of his that told that he also went to, after the Baba Saali passed away. So they sat 7 days of mourning in his house, and great people came, important people came, simple people came. Now the Baba Saali had this big connection with Chabad. Also, he really loved. He was not, a Chabad Chassid, but he had a tremendous connection with Chabad. He loved Chabad. He loved the Rebbe. So a lot of Chabad Chassidim came. The Rebbe sent his, I guess you call it his main secretary, his personal secretary, Rabbi Label Groner. He sent him from America to come to Israel, in the city of Netivot, to give his condolences to the family of the, call him the Baba Saali, right? Of Rabbi Abba Ser. So when he was there, he said that he wants to say a story. And this friend that I went to comfort, his good friend was there, and he heard Rabbi Label Groner tell the story. What is the story? That one day the Lubavitcher Rebbe asked Rabbi Label Groner to bring into his room 2 cups of tea. Now the Lubavitcher Rebbe did not, he was the Rebbe's personal secretary, so he would bring in food whenever the Rebbe wanted, whatever it was. And the Rebbe did not drink tea never ordered tea. I think the Rebbe used to drink tea with his mother when his mother was still alive, and he would go home and drink tea with his wife. But in his office, he didn't drink tea. Never. That's just what it was. Today, all of a sudden, 2 cups of tea. What does he have to have 2 cups? 1 cup is not enough. 2 cups of tea. So he's 2 cups of tea. And so add 2 cups of tea. Brought the 2 cups, and he left the room. He was waiting outside. Like about a half an hour later, he came into the room for something that the Rebbe called him, and he saw that the cups of tea were empty. So we asked the Rebbe, did the Rebbe drink 2 cups of tea? So the Rebbe said, no. Just by me was Rav Abu Chatzera from Israel. He was by me. Now, what does it mean he was by me? Rav Abu Chatzera lived in Israel, and the Rebbe lived in New York, and he never left Israel. In fact, Rabbi Abu Chatzera wanted to leave Israel. He wanted to come, and he wrote a letter to the Rebbe early, and the Rebbe told him, don't do it, that the Jews in Israel need you. And he stayed in Israel. If he would have come to America, that he had supporters, and he would have lived like a king, the Rabbi Abu Chatzera. The Rebbe told him yes, and he stayed in Israel. He stayed there. In any case, he never left Israel. So what does it mean? Somehow he was there, and they drank tea together. Now, obviously, we can ask a question: what did he have to come to the Rebbe? However, he came. What the Rebbe? He could have called him on the phone, but obviously, there were some sort of things that had to be accomplished by them physically being together. You can call that physically. I mean, he was there. He drank tea, right? And he was in Israel at the same time. So how does that work out? So when Rabbi Label Groner told that story, he said that Rabbi Abu Chatzera was by me as the secretary of Rav of the Baba Saali, he said, I want to also tell a story. I think his name was Reb Mustafi. I think he was a personal secretary of the Baba Saali, personal secretary. Said, I also want to tell a story. He said I think it was every week, like 2 hours of the week, the Baba Saali would close the door to his room. Now I was by the Baba Saali twice. I went there twice. I took my wife's mother there twice by him. She wanted to receive a blessing from him. I even to this day have water from him. He used to he used to touch a bottle of water, and that water had amazing effects. It had healing effects and things like that. I still have it in my house. In any case, so his door was open. His door was open to his room all the time. He didn't conceal himself. His door was open. Not like the Rebbe, he took people into private audiences. His door was open, and people would come in, and he was very short with people. He would give advice to people, whatever. I'm a miraculous person. If you went to see the Baba Saali, he was very not impressive person. Here, look at the picture. Where do we have the picture? He was very not an impressive person. He didn't like majestic or something like that. But there was something about him that was so, I don't know how to say it, incredibly friendly and loving. It's just impossible to describe it. But it was like, he was so open and so friendly. Okay, anyway. So, but his door was always open. And once a week, I think, every week, as he wanted his door closed for like 2 hours. So one of the members of his family that didn't know, that he requested that it be closed, didn't understand. So she opened up the door. I think it was his granddaughter or something. She opened up the door to go in. She didn't understand why the door was closed. And she saw 2 people sitting there. So she realized that her grandfather was talking to somebody. So she closed the door. And afterwards, she asked her grandfather, who was that person that was sitting with you? And he said, this is his Rebbe Mustafi, told the story, the Baba Saali's personal secretary. Who was that person? He said, it was a visitor from America, a visitor from New York. So it seems that the Rebbe would go to him, and he would come to the Rebbe. And there was one time when the Rebbe said that to one of the relatives they mentioned the Baba Saali, and the Rebbe said, he was just by me a few hours ago. The Rebbe said he was just by me now. So somehow or other, they visited each other. It was seemingly not difficult. It was okay, go and understand that. I can't understand that. But it seems the explanation is, I read in a book which is called Avodas Hashem, by Rabbi Meir Gabbai. It was written like 500 years ago, 800 years ago, whatever. That every Jew has 2 bodies, and one body is eternal. It was supposed to be. If that was from Adam, if Adam would not have eaten from the tree, people would live forever. That's the true Jewish body. But when Adam ate from the tree, so that body became covered over. That's the garment that was put on there, and that body, that we identify with that. That's what dies. But essentially, every Jew is really eternal. And there's a lot of stories about that. Elijah the prophet went up to heaven in a chariot in his physical body. So some people manifest this, and it says that there's 9 people that went into heaven and they didn't taste death. And one of them is Yeshua ben Levi, and etc., and Elijah the prophet. And another was Mashiach. So it seems that somehow or other, this idea of Mashiach and other tzaddikim, they reveal this eternal body. And it doesn't die. And it's not limited to time or place. It's a human being, but it's not limited to any limitation. So I understand it. I don't understand it at all, but it happened. It happened. So we see that's what we're dealing with, a little foretaste of the raising of the dead with the Lubavitcher Rebbe and the Baba Saali HaKodesh. Bona shira li Rav Yisrael Abu Chatzira. Have a good Shabbos, everyone. See you on Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning. Sharp. A little bit sharp.